Hey, what's up everyone? Thanks for checking out the video. I've got another Makita tool review I'm going to do. They're kind of just out of the box first impressions and thoughts on it. This is the new cordless angle grinder that I picked up from them recently, and just kind of pulling it out and starting to get into using it and checking out some different features on it. So this is going to be their model XAG20, and this isn't going to be a model I don't think you're going to be able to find this at like Home Depot. You're gonna have to probably go online to order this like I did, and by doing that, this model is I think above and beyond like what you're gonna find at the store, where it's got some different key features on it that stood out to me and was worth it for me spending just a little, really honestly just a little extra money, and to get those better features on it. So I thought it was worth going online for it. So in the package, obviously, you're going to get the angle grinder. It's going to come with a Makita handle. You can mount that on left or right hand side just like any other angle grinder. It's got your other threads over here. You're also going to get the metal blade or cutting wheel guard here. It's going to come with a Makita grinding disc here, kind of standard just to get you started. You're also going to get your blade change tool here, so that just works in conjunction with your lockout button up here that locks out your grind disc here from spinning out, and then obviously just put your tool here on the chuck just like any other angle grinder, and can crank off your nut there. You're also going to get, which I didn't know this was going to be coming with, is this kind of neat additional plastic guard, and I can see this being nice for some different type of flap discs or cutoff wheels that you're going to use on here, to where you might want a little added protection. So you can see with just your standard metal one here, you know, you have your protection back here, but across here it's still pretty wide open for like debris to fly out, or if like a flap or a flap disc like lets a pad fly off, or a cutoff wheel shatters, it's still pretty open. So if what you're cutting on allows you to, it has this added guard here that pretty easily snaps on and just gives you a little extra protection. Like I said, I didn't even know it was coming with this, so it's kind of a cool surprise that it was in the box. So it just inserts over your metal guard there, and then it's got this clip on the end that just snaps in, and that's it. So you can see it gives a little more over protection on your cutting wheel here, or whatever grinding disc. So I can see like with the grinding wheel like this, it might not be ideal because you're kind of getting on an angle on things that might kind of get in the way. But like, let's say if you have a cutoff wheel where you're kind of more cutting on something like this, it's not as in the way. And that, like, for me here, looking at it here, I can still see just to here to where my cut line is, where the blade would be cutting, but I have a lot more protection here of if that wheel were to shatter or piece break off and fly back. This actually makes me feel a lot safer, and then it's as easy as you just push down on the little clip here and it pops back off. And just keeping it at the same angle here of going from with the guard to pulling off that guard, yeah, I'm like standing behind this a lot more vulnerable without it. So I actually really like this. I think this is a great safety feature that they include with it. Easily snaps on, and I'd say use it every time that you can that allows you to. Maybe not so much for flap disc where you're kind of grinding on an angle like this, and you kind of got to get that attack angle, but like with the cutoff wheel where those things can be pretty, I think, sketchy if they catch things just right. This definitely is a really cool thing to have added on there. Doesn't really add any bulk, but just a lot more safety. This is also, they're going to have two different model versions of this one. This is, like I said, the XAG20. I can't remember what the other version is, but this one is with the paddle trigger here on the bottom. So you got a little safety switch, and then you pull your trigger to start it. Your other version with all the same features would be your push button up here, more similar to like this older corded Makita I've got, where it's got a button like that once you push, it stays on and runs just like that, where it's a similar button, but I think on the cordless model it's kind of up top in the middle here. I've had this one for many years and I've gotten a lot of use out of it, and I switched to the paddle switch trigger under here, I think really just for safety, because I have used this a lot and had it kick back on me and stuff, and I think just with this, when you click it on, it's on. If you lose grip of it or it catches something, it's not gonna shut off, versus I think this with a paddle switch is kind of a little bit more of a safety feature, where you're holding it, you're grinding something, if you let go or something grabs it and it gets out of your hand, as soon as you let go, it's gonna obviously release the trigger and turn it off. So I think that just kind of makes me feel a little bit better, and I like it like that. I don't know what anybody else's thoughts are on it, but that was just kind of my thought process. So you're still able to kind of hold it at all different angles to kind of do like a cut-off wheel position, still like this for flat disc or anything like that, and still very comfortable. I don't have a problem holding it. You're kind of naturally holding the trigger like that, so I like that feature. What this is also going to have over like what you'll find at Home Depot, I think, is this is going to have a brushless motor, so a little more compact handle, more efficient motor, more power, and doesn't draw as much battery juice for how much power it uses. And then the second feature that this will also have over the Home Depot version, as well as some of the other Makita ones, is a electric brake. And I think that, as well as for many power tools, but especially the angle grinder, is a very important safety feature, so that as soon as you let go of the trigger, it uses that brake and quickly ramps down your blade out here. The kind of last thing I think that this has over some of the other models they have, so they have some other models you can get online that do have the electric brake as well as brushless motor, but then this is, I think, another step up to where you can option out the variable speed. So there's a variable speed dial here on the bottom, speed 1 through 5. I'm not sure how much I'll actually use that, but I thought it'd be better to just have it and not need it than not have it and end up wanting it or needing it. Said my old corded model didn't have it. I didn't even know it was really a thing. It's just on off runs, but I think after using this for like many years, I think I've had this probably 6-7 years. I can see some times that I've used it that the variable speed would be nice. So I like that has it. So between the variable speed, the brushless motor, and the electric brake, those are kind of, I think, the things that kind of put this towards the top of the Makita angle grinders. And also I think some other angle grinders, like maybe Milwaukee or other brands, I haven't necessarily seen them with the variable speed, so I do like that feature. You're also going to have, on it lists here, your RPM. So with that variable speed dial, you range from 3,000 RPM up to 8,500 RPM. So pretty good range there. You're also going to have these nice little covers here, which are your air intakes for the motor, one on each side. So they're removable mesh screen for kind of keeping debris and dust and all the things that's coming off whatever you're grinding from getting sucked into the motor itself. So that's just a good feature on there for, I guess, longevity of the tool. Going back to my old corded one, it doesn't appear to have anything like that on the vents back here, and I can see, I don't know if it comes through on video, but there is quite a bit of debris and dust and different things built up in there, and that's like the stuff you can see on the front here. It's just all that stuff that also kind of gets in that area and sucked right back into the motor, and that's obviously not good for the electronics or the motor or the brushes or anything in there. Not that I've had an issue with this one, but I think just longevity wise, it's nice to have those filters that are also removable that you can clean. Trying to think what else on this. Just overall, like, ergonomics on it is really nice. The grip size here is like perfect. This handle is nice and everything just feels really good. I think holding it next to my corded model, even though this is bigger, I don't really have a scale, but just hand to hand, this almost feels slightly lighter. Obviously, I'm going to throw on a 6-amp battery, and that might change things. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the balance of it between with having the battery back here, the motor up front, just the overall balance on this actually feels quite nice. Everything on this feels extremely quality. The battery seating, the handle, the grip, the housing up here, this additional guard here that goes on. Everything on here is just, it feels like a really nice, solid, beefy tool. And just overall really nice. That's one of the things here too, is ergonomics coming from this one, where it's just all hard case, hard plastic. It's kind of like a pretty big barrel grip. I don't have the handle on here, but just holding this is much larger. No like rubber overmold coming over to the new cordless model. This grip area is a bit slimmer, so I can get my hand wrapped around it better, as well as you've got the nice rubber overmolding here. So I do like that a lot better. Size-wise, between the two, I mean, obviously it's quite a bit of length difference added with the cordless model. You've got a little bit more back here just in the housing itself, maybe for some like circuit boards or electronics for like the brushless motor. I think that's kind of what's going to be packaged in there. And then obviously you got to add your battery on the back that adds more length. But just holding it and kind of all the uses I've done with this older corded model, I can't really see that having this little bit of extra length and the battery back here is really going to interfere too much. I mean, you're doing your grinding up here, or you're cutting. This doesn't really seem in the way at all. I will say that, and it does stand up nice like that too, with the battery straight. I think some other angle grinders out there have the battery kind of angled so you can't stand them up. Not really a huge deal, but it is something to think about. Some of their other models that are still brushless and have the electric brake but don't have this variable speed dial, if you're not interested in the variable speed, those models, if you look, are actually a little bit shorter here. They take probably this whole section out, so a good 1/2 inch or so, 3/4 of an inch, and pull that battery up even more. So that makes it just that little bit shorter. I don't think it's really anything to worry about. It's kind of negligible in the size of the whole package overall. And I think for me it was just worth it I'd rather have the variable speed capability. It's also going to have your battery meter up here with 3 bars that'll light up when you power the machine up. And I'd also like to compare the RPM on this to the corded model. So this, I said, goes from 3,000 up to 8,500 RPM. Coming over to my old corded one, this does 10,000 RPM. So I'm thinking, I mean, obviously the RPM on this is more, you know, you're going max on the cordless model 8,500 to 10,000 on the corded model. I don't know that, I'm trying to think if that would really affect too much for any of the work I've ever done, but I got to do some more tests to see kind of the power between the two. This says it's a 7.5 amp model. They might have some other higher amperage corded models, but I gotta do some side by side to see. But I'm thinking with this, I picked up some 6-amp batteries. These are MAKITA's largest or highest amperage battery. I'm thinking this is gonna be, for all the work I do, more than enough power. I never really struggled on anything with the corded model, and like I said, this was like 6 or so years, maybe 7 years that I've had it, and kind of probably abused it a little bit and beat it up some. Probably not as bad as some people, but I put it through the use for sure. over the years, and never really had any reliability issues or any concerns with it. And I also never had like a power issue with this one to where I was like running out of juice on it. And I suspect all those things to be the same with this one. Just starting it up here, I'll run it and kind of show the electric brake, but it feels like it's got plenty of power. And all the things I do of like the most recent project I had was I took the deck boards off my steel utility trailer and kind of just took the wire wheel and a flap disc to some rusty spots and repainted it. I think general projects like that are what I do, and the cordless model is going to have more than enough power and runtime for that, for what I do, as well as just the convenience of being cordless. Obviously, like any other cordless tool, it's nice to be able to run around and go to any spot, say for that project, on the trailer, and not have the cord, you know, running around the garage to plug in and kind of up underneath. This is just going to obviously be able to go with you wherever you go. And for what I do, I think it's going to be perfect. So I'll show the electric brake, so I'll start it up and then just let it turn it off or release the trigger and see how the electric brake slows down the a little bit heavier grind disc here. So here we go. So nice quick ramp down. As soon as you let go, the electric brake kicks in, and I don't know, maybe a second or two, or split second, that it's able to bring it down to stop. And like I said, that's just a great safety feature. So I'll do it one more time, and you can tell when I grab the trigger, this has it's hard to convey through video, but it feels like a lot of power. It really ramps up to full speed quite quickly. So that's on max speed as well. I'll go ahead and show like maybe the lowest speed just to see what it looks like. And I can ramp it up here too. So I like having that variable speed. I think I'm going to get some good use out of that. I can see like maybe some more delicate grinding applications, or just trying to clean up some sheet metal or something a little bit lighter. You don't necessarily need or want it to be full out speed, like having to be able to back it off a little bit like a lot of other power tools, like just like your drill or a router or anything else where you can ramp it down a little bit for a certain application. I think it's going to be the same benefit here on the angle grinder. So that's really kind of everything I can think of and see on this, just pulling it out of the box and first impressions. I think this is going to be a great saw. I'm already, if you watch some of my other videos, on the MAKITA platform, and just adding to some of the tools, trying to purge or clean out some of the, I've had like a mix of different brands of tools, and trying to get some revamped up to match everything else I have on the MAKITA line and use the same MAKITA battery. So getting this one just makes sense since I'm on that MAKITA line. I've really liked all of my other MAKITA tools, from circular saws to drills, cordless router, multi-tool, recip saw, all different things like that. And the batteries are great, the charger's great, and the build quality on this, like if you the way this feels compared to a lot of other tools, and just like looking at some of the details of how it's machined and manufactured, the overall ergonomics on it is just, it's the same across all the MAKITA tools that I have. It just feels very excellent, high grade, and I've had some like this one for quite a long time, and even though this is a corded model, I've really grown to like them. So I like the build quality overall through the whole platform. So I appreciate anyone that took the time to watch this video. I do have probably a couple more Makita tools that I want to do some walkthroughs on and test. I'm probably going to maybe do a follow-up where I actually test this angle grinder on maybe cutting some metal or flat disc, cleaning some different things, and kind of actually put it through a test. But this one was more just about my initial impressions and thoughts on it, kind of comparing it to what makes this one special or stand out versus what you're gonna find if you just run to Home Depot and buy like their special package or their sale angle grinder. It's gonna be a great probably angle grinder and a great price, but for not much more, I think you can get a much better angle grinder with a few like key details on this that are gonna really probably go above and beyond that one and make you a bit happier. It certainly did for me. So like I said, I appreciate anyone taking the time to watch any of these videos, and take it easy. Thank you.